Hey guys, welcome back to another weekly revival podcast.
It's the type of beat that make you say.
Hey guys, welcome back to another weekly revival podcast.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I think Landon's going to start us off with some shout-outs from last week, I think, right?
Yeah. So actually, I want to rewind a little bit. I apologize. Last week, I should have been doing a few more of these shout-outs because we had some huge things happen just this last month that I really want to make sure we give some credit to. So Quentin, in August, he actually hit Golden Door. Okay, the benchmark for Golden Door changed this last year from 2 million, and they upped it to 2.5. Okay, a lot of people in the industry that were hitting Golden Door were just barely scraping over that $2 million mark. So for Quentin to be hitting that just in August is freaking awesome. So way to go, Quentin. We had another couple of things happen last month. Brennan Homestead, Ryan Lowe, they had some huge months as closers. They're both over 400. I think actually both of them are over 450. So they're both totally crushing it. Let's see. I've got a few other from last month.
Jared's going to say Ryan is just like, cold-blooded closer. That guy will sell anything. And Brandon, I think he had like a couple days where he had like a couple hat tricks. Like not just like one, but 3 or 4 days in the month where he closed 3 deals or 4 deals in a row. Yeah, which is awesome.
Seriously.
Right? And he had like, I wonder how much of that was self-gen too. He self-gen quite a bit last month and the month before.
Yeah, I think Brennan by far has the most self-gen revenue out of all of the closers this year. I should actually look that up, share that with us next week. But I think in 1 month, he had like over 100K of self-gen.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
That's impressive.
And that's a lot of earnings for him. And so we got to be pushing the self-gen more for the closers.
Yeah, that's super exciting. So we'll definitely be bringing Brennan in here. We'll bring Ryan in here. You guys can, we'll pick their brains for you so you guys can get a deep dive into how they're working their magic out there on the doors. Couple other shout outs from last month. We had Jared Forward. He broke over 250K in revenue as a setter. Freaking awesome. Nice work. We also had Joseph Cook and then Wayne Schultz. You guys broke the 200K mark as well. So all of you guys joined the 200K club. That's super exciting. Not a ton of people get to do that as a setter. So way to go, guys. Couple other for this month. Okay, Jake Garrett, right? Last week we found out he was our Revival of the Fittest champion. This month he's already almost at 200K. So let's go, Jake. Hopefully,
or something.
Yeah, he's at like 181 right now. There might even be a couple deals that aren't in the CRM. So he's so close. I really hope he makes it to the 200K club this month. We've also got current update on Revival of the Fittest. Okay, we've got Robert. He just barely took second place, won the Apple Watch. Way to go, Robert. And then in the runnings for third place right now is Nathan and Jericho. Okay, they're going neck and neck for third place for the AirPod Maxes.
AirPod Max.
Yeah. So I guess by the time you guys hear this podcast, we'll have a winner. But right now, I think Jericho has like a 50-point lead. So we'll see exactly what happens. But good work, guys.
That's sweet.
And you said Tegan, right?
Yeah, well, I was just looking at. I think Tegan up in Kaysville had a hat trick on last Saturday. So anytime we get a hat trick, that's an accomplishment for a closer. So
it's always the best feeling as a closer. You just feel like
in a row,
unstoppable. It's like, dude, next person I talk to, they better watch out because they're gonna buy windows.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool.
So now I wanted to also ask about Turf Wars, because once we get Revival of the Fittest all wrapped up, then I think Turf Wars is just, it might be rolling out right when this podcast kind of comes out, maybe.
It'll be a week
later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, this should roll out. So you guys should be watching this on Monday, and Turf Wars starts the next Monday. So 1 week from now, Turf Wars begins. And so we'll get a good social media post going with all of the rules, regulations, and how that's going to work. But I am super pumped to see all 4 offices just going neck and neck to see who can claim the title this year.
Yeah, and the winner gets that trophy. I know it's up in Kaysville right now. And then we're doing like cabin retreat with the sales therapist, right? with the whole team. So it'll be fun.
And one of the owners.
It'll be awesome.
It's gonna be sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe both of us will go.
I hope it's, I want to go. So
Cool. All right. Well, this week, we wanted to kind of finish up our story that we started last week. That's why we're both on here again.
right.
Last week, we kind of dove into a little bit more of our personal lives to kind of give you guys a good insight on who we are as people. And we kind of gave the lead-in story to how Revival started, but we didn't get to finish that story and really dive deep into why Revival exists.
Yeah. So, I mean, kind of just start off where we left off. We were coming off kind of a tough summer. And we loved, our summer days, I always kind of tell my wife, like, if I wasn't married or something, I probably would have just kept doing that, It was just the fact with kids, being married, anyone out there who's done that before, having a mobile job like that where you're just relocating every couple months is just not sustainable for the kids and stuff. We always knew as soon as, kids were going to school at a minimum, like that was when it was kind of like we had to settle down somewhere. And so Landon had came home from that summer and he was kind of like looking for other opportunities. I remember you were you were going to be a nurse, right? So I thought maybe you'd get into medical sales or something. But a couple months in, found out you were selling windows. And initially I thought it was window cleaning. I'd never heard of like replacing windows. So it's like a new industry to me. And at that point it'd been in the door-to-door space for 7 years. And so I kind of thought I knew at least every industry, but that's one I never heard of.
I was shocked when I found out about it because like James said, like I was totally lost because I kind of mentioned this last week, but I'd set my path on, I was going to become a regional manager in pest control. And then that was just like totally flipped on its head that summer. I was like, wow, what in the world? What am I supposed to be doing? So I started exploring all my different options. I did look at medical sales. I was actually really close to jumping on medical sales. And then I realized, no, I didn't actually want to do that. And then I almost pulled the trigger on tech sales.
People do that.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people.
All my brothers, pretty much.
Yeah, it's like it's good money. Looked like a good job. I was like, didn't quite feel right about it. And literally, while I was interviewing, or the day I was interviewing someone about tech sales, I saw a buddy post on social media about. It didn't even say what it was. He just said it just said 15 to 20 hours a week, making like I don't remember, 5 to 10 grand a month. And I'm like, what is he selling? I tried to recruit that guy. It's like, I'm going to reach out to him, see what he's doing. And he told me about windows. I was like, windows? You mean like window cleaning? What is this? He's like, no, it's window replacements. I started looking it up. I'm like, how have I never heard of this? And he's telling me all the things like they get paid next week. He was telling me the pitch, which honestly didn't even sound that impressive. Like I was like, if you actually have guys making the amount of money that you're telling me they're making, and this is the pitch, and they're getting paid next week, like, all right, let me go check this out because it sounds a little bit too good to be true. So I checked it out, went to a meeting, wasn't honestly super impressed. Okay, and none of the guys in there were like high level reps like I was used to, coming from our industry, coming from our teams. And so, but I did see what kind of money they were making. I was like, dude, I for sure can do better than them. Like I made them open up their books, show me everyone's paychecks. I'm like, dang. All right. So I gave it a shot, jumped in. Both of the
setting records from like your first week.
Yeah. It's like, so I got to close my first day. And then I think my second week I had broken the sets in a day for that company that I was at. Yeah. Which since then it's obviously been broken. But back then, this is a few years ago now, it's like 13 sets in a day. And then moved into closing very quickly. And then my second month in closing, I had broken an industry record. It's actually me and this other guy, Jake Richards. Yeah. Dude, this is actually a funny story. I better share this story.
Okay. So, I know that story.
Still pissed off. If you hear this story, it's like, good on you, man. That was a good month.
We love Jake too.
Yeah, we love Jake. So we're going neck and neck, me and Jake. He was out in Arizona. I was in the Utah market. And by the way, the deals out in Arizona were like double the size on average as the ones that were closing in Utah. And so every time he got one sale, I had to get 2 sales to catch up. He got another sale and 2 sales to catch up. And we are like back and forth the entire month. he's got a lead on me most of the month. And then the last week, I catch up to him. And last day of the month, I had I had closed the deal just barely. And my market owner was actually out there in area with me. I'm like, dude, where's Jake at for the day? He's like, dude, he's like a few $1,000s ahead of you.
Where was it at? What was it, 700?
We were at, oh, geez. Now I got to go back and pull up the thing. I think we were like either 650 or 7 something.
700.
I apologize. I have to go back and I'll post it in the comments.
I remember
we actually
close to 700K. Yeah.
But yeah, it was up there, and he was $3,000 in revenue ahead of me or something, and I only had one more confirmed appointment on my board today. We called his manager, and his manager said he was done for the day. I'm like, oh freak, like
You gotta close it.
I have to close this deal. I show up to the door, and dude, I just went ghost white because guess who answers the door? It's like a 20-year-old couple. I'm like, they're not gonna buy it. So I'm like, I'm screwed. And I get in there. They just barely bought this home. They have like no money. I'm like, no, dude, that sucks. So I'm like just putting on my best foot, and we go through, and they end up buying. I end up convincing them to buy windows, and they were actually really excited about it. Took like forever to get approved and to get the email sent through and everything. I was like stressed out of my mind. I get out of there, call my manager, just double check that Jake is done for the day. He's like, yeah, he's done for the day. I'm like, yes, I'm like, this is it. We got it, industry record. I get home and look at the Voxer, and then freaking at like 11:30 or like almost 12 o'clock, something crazy. Jake puts in a shout out sale. I'm like,
callback or something.
What in the world happened? And he had a customer that he'd ran earlier than day, and they called him back. It was like 11:30 at night. He's like, oh, no worries. I'm actually just right out here in the area. He's already home. He's like, I'm going back to beat the record, you know? He drives back out to their homes like almost midnight, closes the deal, and passes me up by just like a few $1,000s. So
Yeah, that's great.
it was awesome though. So we both crushed it though. We think we both passed the previous record by like 200K.
Now, that whole time when you were setting and getting a closing, I was kind of always trying to convince you to come sell pest control, because my mentality too is just like, we had a down year a little bit, but I'd always loved the job, going out for the summers, and I didn't want it to end with a bad year, you know, like just because I have one bad year, every year's good. One bad year, am I just gonna like quit, you know? And so I was like, I definitely don't want to just give up because I had one down year. So let's at least run it back one more year. So I was all in, and we had a great recruiting season, and then went out and killed it that summer. But that whole time I'm trying to get Landon to do it, but he's actually killing it in this new window industry that I've never heard about, setting records and making a ton of money. That month, I think it was March.
Yeah.
And so I was already committed to go for the summer. Like next month I'm leaving, but Landon's, telling me made like 60 grand that month or something crazy. But the craziest part about that story was he was paid all of that money like in the month that he had sold the contracts, and there's just nothing else like pest control. I can make 60 or 70 grand, 80 grand in a month, but I'd have to wait for paychecks to come in, clear back ends in January. But in Windows, what here Landon was, he didn't have to pack up his family. He could be in one spot and kind of work year round, and he's getting paid everything up front, not having to wait months to get paid anyway. So I'm like, there are some stark like differences. No other industry, this is a new industry, and no other industry that I know of actually pays this way and has these type of benefits.
Yeah. Plus, he's like way more chill of the job.
Yeah,
way more. I was like, by the time I had been closing for like a year straight, I didn't feel burnt out at all. Whereas end of a summer, you're pretty done. Right. You're ready for a 9-month break.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. With summers, it's a sprint. And other industries, solar or other things, they do blitzes, and we'll do blitzes, and we'll treat some sections of revival. If we do like a summer team or blitzes, it's a sprint. But for the majority of guys working with us, it's a marathon, and so our hours are a lot less, and it's way more sustainable. Especially if you think about having a wife and kids and stuff, it's like that's way better.
Yeah. So much better. So we kind of realized, with me doing as well as I was, and knowing my background and like what level of a sales rep I was, because I was like a really good sales rep, but I wasn't like the top 1% in my previous industry. And so for me to come in and now be at the top of this industry, we realized, hey, this is very much a newer market, not as established yet. The big dogs haven't entered the game. And we're like, all right, we love all of these things about the industry. We love how fast it can pay. We love the amount it can pay. We love the schedule. We love the sustainability. But at the time, and still, I mean, I look around at all of the competitors out there, there just weren't any companies that we could see that had like robust systems put in place yet, just because it's so new, right?
Right.
The trainings weren't anything crazy. They weren't definitely what we were used to doing for our teams. And so like we set out to take this amazing industry and mold it and let it level up, right? Just like every other industry has done. We wanted to be the first in the industry to really get it on the next level.
Yeah. I think in my previous industry in pest control, what I really loved was there are two things I loved. When I first got into it, I really actually enjoyed like trading my value creation for earned income. So again, it's like a 100% commission job. And when you're young, I mean, some of our rookie setters just jumping into this job, it's kind of scary to like bet on yourself and go into that job. And it was kind of scary for me to do that. I kind of shared last time my dad told me to do it, and he gave me the backup. Like I just felt like worst case scenario, like it's really not that bad. So it gave me the confidence to go out and do it. And then I did it and I loved it, and I did well. And I really decided to try to lean into that a little bit more, to lean into the full commission and the bonus-based jobs, because it gave me more control over my income, where if I could get better, then I could increase my income instantly rather than waiting around for like a raise or a promotion to come my way, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the first thing I loved about sales. But the second thing was, as I got into management, was I really enjoyed helping other people have that same experience and like, hey, teach them like, hey, I can tell they're a little nervous to bet on themselves. I get them into a position and I'm the one mentoring them, coaching them, and giving them that opportunity and the structure and the systems to watch them climb themselves out of maybe a tough financial situation or life situation and learn things about themselves in that experience. And so I really just enjoyed giving that opportunity. And then they are actually the ones that do it themselves. And that's very empowering to them. And I'm just like the facilitator. And that's what gets me, in my previous industry and even now, that's what gets me excited, like getting out of bed every morning. Like I'm just trying to create that opportunity for everyone that works here and everyone that, I'm surrounded with. I want to be the guy that can facilitate that type of growth and opportunity for others. So that's one thing I kind of talk about when I'm recruiting people to Revival, or I would hope everyone at Revival knows, is the answer to really two questions. But the first one's, why did we exist? Like, why did we start the company? And that's like the core behind, why we started the companies. We really love, both of us, and all the owners at Revival and really a lot of the leadership at Revival know this about us, and they are also like this, where we really love providing that opportunity to our reps and being the ones to facilitate that growth in them. And so that's really why we started the company.
Yeah, totally. There's nothing more satisfying and gratifying than being able to take someone that's young and in a stage in their life where you can really mold them into something better, and just being able to take them in, provide the systems, the training, the platform, the whole thing, and just put them through this system where they pop out on the other side like a much better version of themselves. Like our goal is for everyone to come in and change the trajectory of their lives for the better.
Yeah.
Whether they're already starting here and they're leveling up to here, or they're starting down here, getting to here. It's like always in the positive trajectory.
And when I first got into sales, that's totally what it did for me, right? Like I would not be where I am today, obviously, if I hadn't made those decisions to kind of get into the space. And I particularly love like working with, the younger people. And that's why I love what we're building here, because a lot of the sales guys, are that 19 to 26 to 27 year old like range. We have people that are older than that, but even on our install side, younger people jumping in. The install side is a good like career builder opportunity as well. And that age is just so important. I mean, I think about my kids, like, and when I was that age, right, like you're just making decisions at that decade of life that really are going to change your life forever. The most important decisions: your education, who you're going to marry, where you're going to live, like your career path. Those decisions are so important and will impact your life in so much more than other decisions in other decades of your life, that it's fun to get to work with people in that stage and then be somebody that can be their mentor and like help them make the right decisions.
Okay. Yeah. And something I was just thinking about while you're talking is, just differentiating Revival from other companies out there in the window space. Because now, I mean, it's already just in the past 2 years since we started, and there's been dozens of other door-to-door window companies starting, right? It's like we definitely caught the wave early on, and everyone and their dog is realizing, hey, this is a really good space to be in, and people are trying to start their own companies, but they're not seeing the success that we are seeing. And I feel like there's one key factor that sets Revival apart from other companies, and I feel like that is probably the answer to your second question, which is, how do we behave? It's like,
yeah, that's the second question I was going to say. Why do we exist? And then how do we behave? Who are we trying to surround ourselves with so we can grow the company?
Yeah, because what is it in the Advantage, right? Is that the book that talks about, like, it's not very much of a strategic advantage these days to like be smart, to know how to run a business or to sell windows or get your hands on a manufacturer. Like, it's common knowledge, anyone can do that, but to have like a very healthy organization with a culture that people enjoy working in and want to get behind and will stay here long term because they love who they work around. Yeah, that's unique. That's very
with all the systems to help cultivate and keep that culture.
Yeah, it's actually been really sad to see that I've yet to have a rep come from another window company in this industry and have totally loved the culture of the other company. And all of them seem to be like very copy paste. And there's some like characteristics, like a lot of fear-based motivation, leadership, scare tactics. There's a lot of that going on in the industry. I don't know what it is about the window space, but there's a ton of that. Yeah. And we are very much not that.
Right. Yeah.
So you want to hit on a little bit?
We want to use a lot of positive reinforcement, not use a lot of negative reinforcement, but to draw that contrast there. But there are really three like core values we've really kind of settled on, and like what's innate in like us owners as like just who we are at our core, and to kind of describe who Revival is at its core. Like if Revival was a person, and I'll just give this example. I kind of mentioned last time, like of my upbringing, how I've kind of just instilled this belief in myself that I'm a hard worker. Like I have a strong work ethic, and that's just part of who I am. That's not like a decision I made. It's just part of how I was brought up, and at my very core, that's something that I would use to define myself. And so that's the same thing when we're thinking about kind of core values for Revival. What at Revival's core, like who is Revival? These aren't like decisions. We're just like, hey, we're gonna be this. It's actually like, this is who the leadership and the company is.
Yeah,
and it's core already. And we're not like making these decisions. But the first one, core value, is just we've called it live in the gain. And actually it's from a book, The Gap in the Gain. But so I think it's on the Audible, so all you guys can go listen to that book. It's great. But it pretty much just talks about, you want to be living in. Yeah, so understand that principle.
Yeah, let me
explain it a little better.
Yeah, so the gap and the gain. If you're living in the gap, you're constantly comparing yourself against like your future, where you want to be, and so you're always falling short of where you want to be, which essentially is just always looking at things through the negative lens. Okay, you're never living up to where you should be. Okay, you should. Versus living in the gain is looking at every situation through a positive mindset and positive lens. Looking backwards, comparing yourself to where you've been versus where you want to be.
Yeah.
It's like, man, look what we've done over the past 2 years. It's been freaking amazing.
I'd love to like accomplish more, of course.
Yeah.
But if you look at it that way, you're like, oh, we didn't
we didn't hit this goal, we didn't do that. It's like you could always be living there and you're never satisfied and you're never happy with your current state.
And that's living in the gap.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what living the game means.
Actually, I just thought about this kind of funny. Last night I took my wife on a date and we went to Mama Choose.
I was gonna ask if you were at the BYU dance concert. I was like, I was there too.
Mama Choose, and we were just, me and my wife chatting. We got our baby girl because we had a baby girl just a couple weeks ago, and there was this like couple that were on a date, and I hear them like talk, like just overhearing their conversation. I could tell they're probably like going to BYU or something, and they asked the question like, "What's the dream? What's the dream?" And one of the guys was like, "The dream is to have like 3 younger kids and a beautiful wife, and I come home from work and they're just like super happy to see me, not just like dad's home, but like my hero is home. Like this guy is the man to me." And then I sit and I get on the floor, I play with my kids for a couple, like an hour or something. And he was just describing my life, actually.
Dude, that is cool. That was a cool
super
moment.
cool. I was like, dude, that guy, I mean, he's sitting over there. That was me 5 years ago, or 6.5 years ago, I guess, before, 7 years ago, it was around this time's like when I met my wife, actually. I mean, that was like me 7 years ago. And I'm like, that's probably what I would have said, actually. And like, here I am living the dream, dude. I'm living the dream. That's his dream. I'm living it. And so there's a lot of other things I kind of want to accomplish and stuff, but like just living in the game. That's like just an example. Just recognizing where I was, where I am now, and just like, that's a good feeling. And yeah, there's a lot of things I want to accomplish and stuff, but you've got to recognize, when you're what you have accomplished and where you are compared to where you've been. And so that's one thing that's really kind of like the core. I think knowing myself and working with Landon and Bridger and I mean Andrew and Ben and a lot of you guys for a while now, and some of you guys for almost a decade now. It's like I know that about Landon. We're all kind of that way. We've always wanted to just stay positive, and life's going to throw you curveballs. It's always going to be ups and downs, as it is with this job and this company. It's not always going to be like sunshine and rainbows at Revival. There's going to be like low moments and high moments, and every office is going to go through that. But we want to surround ourselves with people that like are living in the game, that are always positive. They're looking for the good that can come out of like any situation. Because there is some good that can come out of even those low moments, like what lessons you're learning, and kind of like good examples, that pest control summer when it was tough for you, and like what good came out of that.
It's like, a lot of my quote, right, that I always say, it very much goes in alignment with living in the game. It's like God is either going to give you exactly what you want, or he's going to give you something better.
Yeah.
Right. That is by definition living in the game.
Right. So it's very abundant minded too. Like I think we're very abundant minded. That's kind of goes with living in the game. And so that's one thing, I want everyone to know, like Revival, that at its core, that's who we are, and that's who the leadership is, and that's what I want to instill in all the reps working with us, and that's one of the filters we try to use when hiring people. Is like we just want to hire people that are have that attribute, that they can be positive, live in the game. So
another one of our core values is servant leadership.
Yep.
Right. It's like, doesn't matter what position you are here at Revival, whether you're one of the owners, you're the top closer in the company, you're an office manager, you're a head installer. It's like everyone here is in it to help everyone else around them achieve their goals and become the best versions of themselves. And in order to do that, you have to be in a servant mentality. You have to be willing to sweep the floors. Okay. You've got to be willing. And what I mean by that is like doing the lowest of the low jobs here at the company. It's like no one is above that. It's like everyone's got to be willing to go out and knock doors. It's like even us, right? It's like,
right.
Heck yeah, I'm willing. If we need a rep out there knocking, I'm there.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd love to go out and knock, but it's like, it's leading from the front. And it's being humble and teachable, just recognizing that like, you don't know everything, even like us owners and the leadership, like we need to be, new setter has a good idea, and we need to be open to like experimenting with that idea.
For sure.
And
I think actually to that point, that is one of our strengths. And that's why we've been able to progress and build this company to what it is right now, is like, we're always open to becoming better. It's like, sure, like we have a lot of knowledge. We're really good at what we do, but is there a better way to do do what we're doing? And probably yes.
Yeah.
Probably is, but we haven't had the people show us that yet. And so as people make suggestions, we totally evaluate. We take everything at face value and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, that's probably actually a really good idea. Let's make a shift. Let's make a tweak. Let's try it out.
Yeah.
And that's how we built this company.
Right. And I think it's important to know that like everyone at Revival is a leader to some capacity. I mean, we're hiring new sales guys every week, and it's like if you've been a setter for 3-4 weeks and a new guy comes in, like that guy's already looking at you as somebody that's got some experience and kind of as a leader, and you've got to set the pace. You've got to help that rep and be a servant leader. And so it's important for everyone to understand that's another part of like our, again, who Revival is. It's not like a decision we made. I feel like my whole life as a leader, I've always been the lead by example type, right? And so I sometimes don't articulate the ideas or like super well, but I can get out and show you like what I'm trying to build and the vision. So yeah, cool. Now the third one, core value is just being hungry. So that one is again kind of just core who we are, but I think at Revival you'll just notice there's just people that are anxious and eager to just improve their life in every aspect. That's not just maybe their career here at Revival. Like there's a lot of upward mobility and growth potential here, and earnings, improving your income. But that's also just like who you are, any way you define yourself. Maybe for me, I've talked about being a dad, like trying to be the best dad I can be, or maybe it's just like a unique hobby you find somebody at Revival has and they just obsess over it or something. But it's about being the best version of yourself in every aspect of your life, and not just focusing on one aspect or being imbalanced.
Yeah, always hungry for more. I know it sounds kind of counterintuitive to living in the gain, but yeah, always being hungry for more out of your relationship, out of your spirituality, out of your sales, out of your incomes. Like if you're not always trying to level up, then you're actually moving backwards.
Right. Yeah. It's just, you're not growing, you're shrinking for sure.
Yeah. So that is who Revival is at its core. That is why we created this company. It's really for you guys. It's for you guys every single day. We want to make sure that you guys are in the best possible scenarios and best situations that you can be in to become the best versions of yourselves. Do you have any last words?
Yeah, we're trying to build this organization with the systems and all the opportunity and mentorship and coaching that anyone needs to jump in and find success. That's what gets me excited again, like just watching other people and facilitating that growth in people. And part of the important ways we do that is creating a culture where people love working here. They want to come to work every day, are excited to be here. So it's been fun. So
it's been a blast.
Yeah, this last 2 years, about 2 years now, and we're 4 markets in now with Peter up in Boise now. It's so awesome, and I think the best is yet to come.
Heck yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, I'm excited to grow with you guys. Excited to see what 2026 holds in store for us.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Revival Podcast signing out.
See ya.